Hi everyone, as usual, this is Anto Chávez with Be Latina. Today we're having a super cool conversation with Jarina de Marco. She is a songstress, a visual artist. I mean, she can do it all. And she is from Brazil and Dominican Republic. So I'm just really excited to delve a little bit more into her background and how that influences her music. She also just got out a new single, Electrico. And I just want to say I'm a really huge fan of her music. So this is going to be a fangirl moment. You don't want to miss it. So she just joined. Let me have her in the live and we'll start the conversation.
Hi,
Hi, Jarina, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, love?
I'm doing well. It is such a pleasure to have you here with us at Be Latina. I mean, I am such a fan of your music, and I know
Thank
your
you.
work. Yeah, and I know your work has been in a countless number of like really cool and popular shows right now. But I first heard it in Vida, and I was obsessed. I mean, as it
Oh,
is, I think Vida has a really cool soundtrack. But I mean, you're one of the reasons why. So like, I became obsessed with your music, and so yeah, just let me stop being such a fangirl and
thank
and
you.
have
That's
you
so
introduce
kind of
yourself.
you. Thank you,
Yay!
thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been very lucky to have my songs featured and be a part of so many awesome stories and all these series and some movies too. So it's truly an honor that I people get to discover my music this way. It makes it more personal somehow.
It does because it kind of goes with a narrative, right? So like you're getting to know the lyrics in another context, and it's so cool. I mean, it was so cool to me, and that's how I became obsessed with all of your music. But yeah, so I just want you to introduce yourself first and just tell us who you are and what you
Sure. Hello, everyone at Be Latina News. My name is Jarina de Marco, and I'm a musician, songwriter, artist, art director, and sometimes musical activist as well.
do. Amazing. So you just got out a really cool single, Electrico. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? I know the video.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it had been featured in some shows, but now it's out and the
yeah,
video's out. So
yeah. So Electrico was produced and it features an amazing producer from Dominican Republic named Diego Raposo. And he sent me the song, and when I got the song here in LA, I fell in love with it. And it kind of launched this new kind of mode that I'm in right now, which is baby making music. I just want to do like super chilled out, like feeling good, sexy vibes all around kind of music. Because as you know, all my stuff is super hype, right?
yeah,
So when I got the track, I wrote it with a friend of mine. Her name is Elida Baruch, who runs a label here. And she's a long, like, we were friends since we were 12 years old back in DR. So it's a Dominican project, pretty much. Dominicans in LA, basically. And I wrote some horn arrangements for it and recorded it. And all of a sudden, we had this kind of the crown jewel of my upcoming album. And it just touches on female sexuality and it talks about sex in a poetically explicit way. Um, Not like WAP, but something to that effect in a more kind of reggae, uh, kind of more mysterious kind of vibe. So that's where I was coming from, and I haven't written songs about love and sex in like I don't know, I want to say a decade, honestly. It's been all
wow.
about like get your shit together, let's fucking do this, you know? And it's kind of nice to go back to a very kind of like romantic, sensual place.
Yeah, yeah, and so the video was really like it was really chill. It was really central, and it was very bright. So can you tell us a little bit about the concept behind it?
Yeah, so I've been obsessed with Jello art and Jello making for like a year and a half now. I even did an art show with this awesome production company here called Girl School that's all about feminine art and female identified artists. And I did an art show where you could actually play the Jello like a synthesizer. It was hooked up to these machines. And I just took that concept of Jello and put it into the video because Jello is so similar to us physically, like our boobs and our butts and our thighs, and it jiggles in a very kind of funny but also sensual way. And it makes people giggle too when people touch it. So I thought it was the perfect medium to represent sex, especially when I plunge my fingers into it. It's kind of like gross but also sensual, which is kind of what sex is like in the end. It's think about it, sex is pretty freaking gross, but also really hot, right? So Jello kind of right, they meshed both really well together. And it also I wanted to talk about how arbitrary it is to only worship the parts of us that jiggle in the right places, you know, like boobs and butts, but also celebrate all the other parts of us that jiggle because it's the same exact jiggle, honestly, you know? And I wanted to kind of also show that through the video.
Yeah. And since this was like the first time you did a song like this in a long time, how did you feel recording the video itself?
Well, luckily, the beautiful man in that video is a dear friend of mine because I was basically naked half the time, and so was he. In fact, he's such a good friend that I had to shave him. I was the one who shaved him so that he had that body. And I was in the shower. I mean, he was in the shower, and I was outside of the shower shaving him. I'm like, oh my God, this is my life right now. It was such a surreal moment. And it's, you know, it was really comfortable because, you know, he's someone that I trust, and that's what I really wanted as my partner and love interest in there. So it was just the whole set was like laughing, and it was all women. It was directed by Sinda Aga, who's this Pakistani incredible director, and she's very visceral and very much into macro shots of textures. So our brains really did well together, and it was an all-female set except for the producer who would step out because he was giving us privacy. Everyone else on set was a woman, from the DP to the gaffer. It was super femme energy, and this beautiful femme man in a way. He's very respectful of us in that space.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And like you said though, overall it was kind of like a Dominican project, right?
Musically, on the musical end, for sure.
Right. And but you have Brazilian heritage as well.
I
So
do.
was that a fusion there? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the music, Diego Raposo put a sample of a very like recognizable sound that's used in baile funk, and it's this you could hear in the song. It goes bye, bye, bye. That's used in all baile funk. So that's like the little Brazilian thing going on there.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so in terms of your background and not only in your music but your early life, you know, when did you realize you wanted to be an artist? Like was your family always supportive of this?
My parents are both musicians and had a band together for 15 years, which meant that my moment of rebellion was when I told my parents that I wanted to be a lawyer at 14, and they cried. So you can imagine how supportive they were. They were super into it. I used to sing a song at every set they had, every show. I was a tour baby. I was on the road, on the stages since the age of 5 years old, pretty much. And I started singing my own songs at 8 years old. So thankfully, I'm very lucky that I've had their support throughout my career.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
it
Yeah,
really
that's
is.
really, really good to hear. Well,
Yeah.
are there any other projects, upcoming projects that you have that you want to tell everyone about?
I do. I have a song coming out. I think it's next week, and it's called Ilegales. And it's a song part of a protest compilation coming up on Popcan Records. And it's with Dylan Brady, who is a really dope producer that I've been working with over the last year. And it's a compilation album about protest songs. So it's me and a bunch of different artists. And so our song is the first single, and it's basically me screaming into the void with anger with how our people are being treated under this administration. So that's going to come up in about a week or so. So look out for that.
Yeah,
Ilegales.
of course. And
Yeah.
I just want to touch on that a little bit more. So you actually self-identify as a music activist as well. So
Yeah.
what does that mean to you?
Well, I can't say that I'm an activist because there's so many people who are putting their bodies on the line and getting arrested and worse. And so I like to say music activist because I do my activism through words and my music, and also whenever I can help raise funds. So I come from a line of activism. My grandfather was part of the resistance against a dictator that we had in Dominican Republic called Trujillo in the 60s. My mother sang a song against the dictator that came after that, and we had to leave the country in exile because we were blacklisted and potentially in danger. So we lived in Montreal as refugees for 6 years. And so my parents have always weaved politics into their music, and I've inherited that kind of torch. It's been passed to me. And I think that, it's impossible to stay quiet for me on subjects. And I will always, sing about these things when they come up.
Yeah. And I think you can even see it in maybe not in the same ways that you're talking about right now, not the same kind of activism, but in the sense of sex positivity, you can see it in Electrico, right?
Yeah. I mean, curvy girls. I mean, Lizzo thankfully came to the scene, and there's so many women that are coming out with, hey, we can be curvy and we can also be very, sexual and sensual. And I think that's important because the majority of us are not, supermodels, and it's time to really just bash that idea to the ground and pulverize it because there's so many different kinds of bodies out there, and I want to celebrate them all from the thinnest to the thickest.
Yeah. Yeah, at least
Yeah.
not the mainstream supermodel that
Right.
people
And
have
look,
in mind.
beauty is beauty. Those women are also allowed to exist in the world, of course, but I'm just saying it's not just one kind.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. And
Yeah.
I think that's why we, everyone who listens to your music experience it in a different way because it has a bigger message and we can feel it, even if it's not on screen, whether it is your videos or other shows, even if you're just listening to it, you can feel, everything you're talking about it, you can feel it when you listen to the music. So I
Ah,
just really, yeah.
that makes me feel really good for hearing you say that, honestly. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. And so, yeah, thank you so much for joining us at Be Latina. Please, everyone, go follow Jarina and listen to her new single, Electrico, and just enjoy the video and enjoy the really chill, cool vibes that this song has.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Be Latina, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jarina. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.